Well, hello and welcome back to our Facebook. Today I'll be talking to Jo. Hi Jo.
Hello.
Jo has been a teacher with us for 2 years. This is her third year in the school, but she's been a teacher for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And she comes from London, I think.
Yeah, from London.
From London. So I hope you enjoy the interview, and I'll be asking her some questions about her job, her hobbies, etc. So let's meet her. Right, Jo, so I think you started as a musician and you studied to become a musician. Where did you study?
Well, I originally studied psychology at Cardiff University.
Oh, right.
And then I decided halfway through that I wanted to dedicate myself to music, and then went and studied privately, studied jazz and composition in evening classes in London for a few years. And then from then on began to work as I could in that field in various places as I travelled around.
So you've worked as a musician?
Yeah, and as a psychologist on the side, working with people with learning disabilities, brain disorders, things like this at the same time.
And I think you're a composer too.
Yeah, so I compose for anybody who wants me to, but for short films, I'm just finishing a long film now, a feature-length film, dances, various things, adverts I've done as well, so for whatever people need me to do.
And have you ever played in a band, or have you ever?
Yeah, since I was 16, several bands when I lived in London and in all the different places I've lived, because I've travelled around a lot, but different bands, reggae bands, jazz, blues, rock, various types, folk bands.
And what instruments can you play?
My main instrument is the keyboard or the piano, but also the bass, guitar as well, and then I can play some guitar as well and some percussion instruments, but mostly piano and keyboards.
Okay, so you are a musician, you said, but you studied also psychology, and you've been working with people who have handicaps.
Yeah, with learning disabilities or mental health problems, and I worked after university with homeless people and various people, projects like that. People with drug addictions. And
have you always worked in England, or have you worked in
other places?
In other places too.
I worked in that field while I was studying, which was in Cardiff, which is Wales.
Yes.
But also I lived in Australia for 2 years and worked there and did lots of work with people like that.
With learning disabilities?
With learning disabilities.
But not as a musician in Australia?
As a musician as well. I did some projects combining music, doing music and art therapy with people with acquired brain damage, as they say, people who weren't born with disabilities but developed them through addiction or accidents, and combined working with music and art with those kinds of people, which was really good. And I did a lot of touring in bands in Australia as well as a musician.
And then you decided to become a teacher.
Yeah, well, I've always done teaching as a side thing, and teaching young people, helping them to pass their exams, teaching piano when I was younger. Always done bits of teaching like that. And then when I decided to come to Spain, it was a good choice of work to do as I played music and followed music as well. And I began very part-time, but have found myself really, really enjoying it and have developed over time, and I'm still here enjoying it.
Yeah, so you've been teaching for 6 years here?
Here in Spain, yeah, as an English teacher.
As an English teacher, because, well, I mean, you were a music teacher too, and you did other things in the past.
Yeah.
And as an English teacher, you've worked here in this area, in Pladalstan, but you've also worked in other places.
Yeah, I've also, when I first moved to Catalonia, I lived in Barcelona, so I was working all around Barcelona, and I've also done a bit of work in a lot as well, but mostly Banyoles now.
And I guess that what you studied at university and your experience as a musician or music teacher and these studies that you did in psychology and helping people with learning disabilities has helped you in your career as a teacher, as an English teacher.
I really think so, because I think those interests of mine help me work with people and work out what people need, the different dynamics of people in a class or private particular classes, and to see what people need and how they need to be worked with. And the element of improvisation which you get from music is especially from studying jazz and things, and at the end of the day teaching it involves a lot of improvisation and thinking on your feet and adapting to what happens in the moment.
Well, and feeling comfortable with people and working with people, which I imagine, well, you've always felt.
Always.
Way, because you studied to become a musician, or you studied psychology. That means that you are interested also in having contact with people and communication.
Yeah, and that's my favourite part of teaching English, is that contact and that connection with people.
And did you train or do something in terms of when you decided to become an English teacher?
Yeah, before I moved to Spain, I did a month's TEFL course in London before I came out here, and that helped a lot.
Yes, I think it is very useful. I've done it too, and well, it's very intense, but it definitely is useful then.
Definitely, and to learn a bit more about your own language and how it works.
Yeah, but maybe you didn't think about it deeply before.
Never, no, you never do beforehand.
And then you said to me that I knew already that you are from London, and now you've been living, you first came to Spain and lived in Barcelona, which is a big city, but what about living here in this area? Have you felt it's been a big change? Has been a big change for you? Have you settled down without any problems?
Yeah, I feel really settled here and really happy here. I've always had a desire to leave the big cities and live more in the countryside, and now I live totally in the countryside. And for me it's really good, I really enjoy it.
But do you still go back to London? Do you still feel the need to go back to the big city from time to time?
Definitely, and also because I have family there. But obviously big cities have something, they have lots of interesting culture, lots of interesting opportunities, and that's where I find a lot of my places to work and lots of projects, musical projects, is through my connections with the cities. But yeah, the cities and the anonymity in the cities, I like that, and the pace. But at the end of the day, I like to be with nature, and I'm a very active person, and I find if I spend too long living in cities, I burn out. It's just too much. Whereas where the pace of life is a bit calmer, I can still be active, but it's just a different
same happens
level.
to me.
There's
I have
too
more
much
energy. And you're English, so English is your mother tongue, but do you speak any other languages?
Well, Spanish for living here, now I'm learning Catalan, and I studied French at school, but I would love to pick it up again. Otherwise, no, I'm a typical English person with very bad history of speaking other languages.
I guess you use Spanish and Catalan practically every day here.
So now that's changing.
And if you had the time, because that was going to be my next question, but you said that you would like to pick up your French again, but are there any other languages that you would like to learn if you had the time to do so?
I think Portuguese is a beautiful language. I'd love to be able to learn that. I love all the Latin languages. I think they're really special languages. I would say more music, because music is a language in itself, and if I had more time, I'd spend the rest of my life studying it further and further and more deeply. That would be my main thing, I think. Okay,
well, it's been very interesting talking to you. Hope you have a good day today, and well, we're going to see each other very soon, because the courses are starting in a week's time. Well, not a week, but 10 days time. And welcome back to work.
Thank you. Back to the classroom.
Back to the classroom. Okay, and thank you very much to all of you for seeing us again. And we'll be getting our next interview ready. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, thanks for watching us. This has been another of our interviews, this time with Joe, and we'll be getting ready for a new one pretty soon, so I hope you stay close to us and watch us again. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.